skill number 3 is emotional wealth. This was pivotal for me because I grew up as quote unquote the emotional child. I had big emotions for a little girl. And then when I became a big girl, I had big emotions for a big girl and I could not explain them. And how did I explain my emotions? I spent money. I spent all of the money. I never kept any money. I never kept any money because I just had so many emotions coming back to back to back to back. And I couldn't make sense of them until I did. And when I did, my life changed. I realized emotional, when you label someone emotional, is really because they feel at a high intensity a whole range of emotions. Some people are limited to a few emotions, but emotional people, they have a range of emotions they're feeling, a lot of them, and they feel them deeply. So that's what I was. That's who I was. And I started learning about emotions. I started identifying my emotions that I went to often and different emotions that made me take different actions because we do everything that we do because of how we feel, the emotions we feel. So while your thoughts create your results, they only do that because they generate an emotion, a feeling that drives you to take actions, which becomes your reality. And when I finally understood that, oh my goodness, the freedom I felt, I started to realize, hold on, you trying to tell me that my overdraft is a result of my brain thinking a certain thought and I didn't realize I had power over that? My overdraft isn't because Bank of America is the worst bank in the entire universe that I would never recommend to my clients. And no, I do. If you are where you have access to Bank of America, you can bank with them. You can bank with any bank. We don't mind. But you see what I mean? You mean to tell me that I shouldn't be blaming the financial advisor who didn't tell me or didn't really emphasize how bad of a decision it was for me to cash out my retirement fund. But now that I don't believe in bad decisions, I also am grateful for that version of me that did that. But I spent years blaming him. Like, why didn't he tell me that what I was doing wasn't right? Why didn't my parents talk to me about money when I was a kid? You mean to tell me I don't need to blame them anymore because I am creating my own reality? My parents didn't create my reality by not talking about money. Do you see what I mean? This was life-changing. And when I was having those thoughts about blaming other people for my results, what emotions was I feeling? And identifying those was empowering because I started to realize, wait, I can put a label, I can put a name to what I've been going through. And it gave me so much clarity. So I recommend you get familiar with different emotions and expressing the right emotion for the right sensation in your body matters. I have to tell you something. Growing up in Cameroon, Africa, the country speaks two languages, two national languages, English and French. But I grew up in the French part and I spoke French as my first language. And I learned English in school as my second language, but I didn't take English seriously. So I came to America when I was 17 and I was immersed into English. And eventually, after I became very fluent in English, it dawned on me why. For the first time in my life, I was free. I felt emotionally free inside of my heart. Because with English, maybe if you are only a single language speaker, you may not relate to this. But if you speak multiple language, you might be able to understand what I'm about to say. English is way more expressive than French. English has more words to express individual experiences versus French is a little bit more broad. French uses the same word for like and love versus English uses like and love. And as an expressive, emotional human being that I am, I needed to be clear that I'm saying like, I'm not saying love. And I don't want you to get confused. Then I had to explain with other words that I'm not using well to tell you that I'm talking about like, not love. That's how I felt with French. I could never express it all from the bottom. I wanted to empty myself. I could never feel empty. like completely poured out, until I became fluent in English and I realized, oh, every time I'm expressing myself, I feel very empty because I'm telling it the way I actually feel inside of me. That's how it felt when I discovered the whole range of emotions. I realized, oh, there's a difference between being joyful and exhilarated. There's a difference between feeling awesome and amazing. Interesting. So what else have I not been able to express? And I started playing with emotions. And it matters. It gives me the freedom to express everything inside of me and feel heard, even to myself, especially to myself.